Hey guys, this is your Captain Adventulina speaking, and I am super excited to say welcome to the first episode of my travel podcast, Adventulina. Some of you are going to be, what the heck is Adventulina? So let me give you a quick explanation. My name is Evelina. I'm from Bulgaria, but I live in San Francisco, California. And I think you already assumed that my favorite thing to do is traveling, just exploring new places, meeting new people, trying new cuisines, and in general, learning more about different cultures. I have a travel blog, adventulina.com, which of course you're more than welcome to check out. So there I am, Evelina, along with my endless desire of seeing the world, which kind of got added up to my name, and that's how Adventulina was picked as a name for my platform. Talking about traveling is my to-go topic, and I'm always super interested in people's experience. I want to know where, how, pretty much everything. And there is no way for me to be bored if I'm talking about traveling with someone, even if I just met them. Travel talks have always been my icebreaker. I can literally listen to travel stories for hours, and I will actually keep asking questions until you probably get tired of me and you're like, enough, I just met you. But I just love the saying, don't tell me how educated you are, tell me where you have traveled. And I keep claiming that traveling is the best education you get, as it teaches you things that you will never ever learn in school. So I came up with the idea for my podcast after I realized that I not only enjoy writing about my experience on my blog, but I also enjoy learning from other travelers and discussing travel topics with them. Plus, as I often joke, I talk so much in general that I may as well benefit from it, or I hope someone else will benefit. But back to my website. There you can find pretty much everything travel related, destination suggestions, transportation options, accommodation, how to pack your luggage, travel restrictions, must-have items when you travel, applications you need, also tickets for events and experiences, travel insurance, even what kind of souvenirs to buy. So everything from A to Z, everything that you need to prepare your trip. You can also find a lot of itineraries for different destinations, and in general, so many tips that are going to help you traveling in an affordable way and in a way to make the most of your money. As I already said, I'm originally from Bulgaria. I have been coming to the States for the last 11 years for different reasons, such as work and travel program, internship, vacations, and I can say I officially moved to San Francisco in 2020, kind of in the middle of the pandemic. Lovely time. Hope you guys sense the irony in my voice. So I have been here since then, and I honestly love San Francisco. It was love from first sight back in 2018 when I first got here. And I know it sounds weird, but it does feel like home at this point. Some people are going to be, girl, the only thing San Francisco and your hometown in Bulgaria have in common is probably that they both are on the same planet. And yeah, I get that. My country and the States in general are extremely different, but it's true. I do feel home in San Francisco. It's hard to explain it. It's a feeling that I literally got on my very first day here 5 years ago. And I know some people don't believe me, but that's okay. You have to kind of feel it to understand it. So San Francisco is my current home, and that's why you also find a lot of information about the city itself on my travel blog. How the whole website thing started, this is a short story. I've been planning different trips, and I've been creating itineraries for all my travels for the last, I want to say, 10 years. So some of my closest friends, they would ask me, why don't you start doing something related to traveling besides just the traveling, You love doing it, you keep preparing itineraries for yourself and for us too. Why don't you just turn it into something bigger? And I decided to listen to them and to create a platform where I will write about my experience, my travels, and just to create a place where people can get information about everything travel related. Because I feel like the best part of traveling is exchanging information after that, learning from one another, and just in general sharing about our experience. So I started creating my website in 2021, and I really wanted to do it myself. Not just because I did not have the budget to pay someone to do it for me, but also because I truly believe that the satisfaction of the final product when you did it yourself is much bigger than if you just pay someone to do it for you, right? You see the final result of your work, you see all the sleepless nights, all the nervous breakdowns, all the Bulgarian curses, and all the time and energy you invested. So then it was worth it because it's like your child. It's like something you created and you know what it took you to do it. That's why I've always loved the saying, it's better to earn it than to inherit it. Try to beat that. You cannot really compare the feeling of something that you did by yourself to something that was, just given to you on a silver plate. My website has been live for almost a year at this point, and I'm super happy to see its growth. So again, you're more than welcome to check it out. Same name as the podcast, adventulina.com. And I currently give out a free online calendar for 2023 with photos from some of my trips in 2022. Go ahead and subscribe to get it. I know it's a few months since the year started, but hey, it's never too late for free stuff, right? Okay, speaking of, it's better to earn it than to inherit it. I think most of you will agree with me when I say that it's really easy to travel when you don't have a budget. Or, in other words, when you're rich. Yeah, you just book whatever you want. You don't care what the price is, what the days are, because you can pretty much afford anything. Sure, but that's not the case for most of us. Most of us need to save money to travel, or to find the best deal to be able to afford a trip, or both. Most of us also need to do really good research so we can afford the destination in general. We just need to know where we're going, how much we're gonna spend, and how to reduce our expenses. And that's why I decided my show to be about the affordable way to travel. I don't want to show 5-star hotels, luxurious trips, perfect pictures, and fancy stuff. I want to focus on how to save money for traveling, how to find the best deal, how to spend less and see more. And at this point, you're probably asking yourself, how is this travel podcast going to be better than, the other travel podcasts? Well, let me tell you, as someone who always tries to find the best deal and to save money for traveling, I know I'm not the only one. And it's not embarrassing to travel for less money. Yeah, most of the people like bragging about how expensive their vacation was, how fancy their hotel was, how much they spent on different experiences. Well, I am exactly the opposite. I like bragging about how less I spent on my experiences and how much I saved from the deals I found. I really cannot describe to you guys the face of a person who just found out that they have paid 3 times more than me on the same thing. 3 times more. But don't get me wrong, I don't want to keep my ways a secret. I would never refuse to give anyone information. I want to share my ways of saving. I want to tell more people how to plan better and how to spend less. So many friends and people who know me, they reach out to me and they're like, how do you find those prices? How do you always go places? And I'm even sure at this point, people who don't know me, they probably think I'm either rich or I have a sugar daddy. I don't know. But I'm like, you don't need to be rich to travel. You just need to be a good planner. So, you have to do the work, you have to do the research. You cannot expect to just sit there and get the best price. You need to know how and where to find it. And you just need to not settle with the first option because, first option is always easy and faster, but you need to know how to plan. So I consider myself a good planner and I want to take you on that journey with me. I want to also introduce you to other travelers who know the best tips and hacks on how to conquer every destination and how to not break the bank over it. In my podcast, I also want to talk about reality and expectations. Because in a world where it's really easy to pretend you have a perfect life, I actually choose to talk about how to live an imperfect life. Because it would be easy to pretend that, I just decide and I go somewhere. Like, how glamorous is that, right? But I want to talk about real life and what most of us go through when preparing a trip. I want to talk about everything that stays out of the pictures we upload on social media and about everything that we don't share, but it's still there. Because everyone can travel when money is not a problem, right? But only a pro can travel on a budget. I always say that. So I think as a first episode, it would be cool to share some stuff with you guys about myself. Let's say 5 interesting things to know about me and my way of traveling. I actually really hope after I share those things with you, you will still be with me. I will take that risk. Let's see. Okay, number 1, it's a short one, packing. First of all, I love packing. Don't judge me, guilty. I just love packing. Packing brings me so much excitement because it means I'm going somewhere. If I'm going somewhere, I'm excited. There's no way for me not to be excited. So that's why I enjoy packing my shit. That's it, period. Second, I really cannot go anywhere without a plan. I know some people like spontaneous adventures, spontaneous trips. Well, I do love that too, but I'm not gonna lie, even if I decide to go somewhere last moment, on my way there, I will still look up things. I will still check Google because I want to see the most for the time I'm spending there. I want to get the most for my money, and I really cannot handle the thought of missing something really cool that I could have seen, but I didn't research. It's literally gonna probably kill me. So I actually tried to go on a vacation once without a plan. And it was one of those things that you do kind of like against yourself, We just decided to leave last moment for a road trip for 3 days. We booked the hotel pretty quickly, got in the car and took off. And I'm like, okay, don't panic. It's okay. This time I'm going without a plan. But damn it, next thing I know, I'm Googling and I'm making 3 days itinerary. I just cannot help it. Again, guilty. It's who I am. I think part of me is like this because back when I lived in Bulgaria, I would save money for a long time to be able to afford going abroad. Because the standard in my country is different and traveling is definitely not as affordable as it is in the United States, for example. So every time I would go somewhere out of the country, I would try to see everything from the top places of my destination, all the must-see spots, because I knew I most likely was never going to go back to this destination. This was my only chance, And knowing how hard it is to save money in my country and to go somewhere where the prices are much higher made me start planning every detail. So I know I'm making the most of my experience, and being used to that, it's just hard not to do it now. Number 3, I don't like traveling in big groups. I'm a person who loves socializing, I love partying, but when it comes to traveling, it's really not my thing to travel in groups. It doesn't like give me anxiety or something like this, but it's just not for me. I cannot handle everyone's preferences, everyone's different desires about what time to get up, what time to get coffee, where to eat, you name it. Some people get tired pretty fast, some people want to sleep in, and I really take that as a deal breaker, or travel breaker, as I call it. And of course, it depends on the purpose of the trip as well. Let's say I'm in Mexico, staying in a resort and having a drink in my hand at the beach. Of course, I'm not gonna get up early. This is different type of vacation, but for everything else, I'm getting up early and I'm maximizing my day. And that's why my ideal travel group is just one more person. And the most I enjoy is 4 people, preferably 2 couples, let's say. Otherwise, sometimes planning just becomes a nightmare and you can never please everyone. It's super hard. So the less the better. And again, I'm just trying to make the best of my trip. So that means I'm going to get up early every morning and I'm gonna spend the whole day out. Coming to the hotel super late because I will be exploring all day long. If I'm going back to a place I have been to, I don't mind traveling in a group because I had already seen what I wanted to see there. I'm not going to explore this place from scratch, so I don't mind going there in a group. I also don't mind traveling in a group when it comes to attending an event such as a concert, festival, or even a wedding of mutual friends. So I guess there are exceptions, but in general, if I'm going to a completely new destination for myself, I would like to keep the number of people to the bare minimum, as it makes it harder to plan, as I said. Fourth thing that you probably need to know about me, and I really hope you keep listening to this episode after I say it. I'm really picky about the souvenirs I'm bringing home from a vacation, okay? Laugh as much as you want, but this is something that can literally ruin my vacation. As every, passionate traveler, I do have a souvenir collection with something I buy from every destination I go to. I collect magnets, pretty standard, nothing surprising, but I don't just buy any magnet. In fact, the magnet I buy from my destination needs to cover some criteria. And I'm pretty sure the last person listening just left, being like, what the hell are you talking about? Anyway, I just don't grab the first shit I see on the souvenir store. The magnet needs to absolutely have the name of the destination on it, and it must only have places that I have been to. Example. Let me give you an example so you don't think I'm completely crazy. Let's say I'm trying to pick a magnet from New York. I'm in New York, so I'm in a souvenir store. And I see a magnet when there are 5 places. Empire State Building, Statue of Liberty, Brooklyn Bridge, Times Square, and Coney Island. But I have only been to 4 of them. Let's say I haven't been to Coney Island. That means this magnet is not going to my collection. Because I need to get one that has only places I've been to. Otherwise, it's not legit. I haven't been to all of those places, so I don't want them on my magnet. I want a magnet that has only places I've been to. And Mom, if you're still here as the last person, thank you, but I don't even think you're here because you don't even speak English. So never mind. Last thing that I'm gonna share is I always try to come back from vacation the last possible moment. Some people prefer to come back in the morning so they have the whole day to rest. Some people request a day between their vacation and work so they can adjust, unpack, and just get ready for, their stuff. No. No, I don't do that. I'm willing to come back on the same day I have to go back to work, just because I want to spend as much time as I can at my destination. I'm pretty much willing to sacrifice my goddamn comfort at work or whatever just to spend more time traveling. So I was planning of sharing only 5 of my travel habits, but I guess a freak like me does have an extra one. That would be the bonus one. So we started the facts with packing, and I would say let's finish with the same. So last and probably most disappointing thing about my travel habits, every time I'm on my way back from a vacation, I always say there's no goddamn way for me to unpack right now. I'm so tired. I just want to take a shower and lay down or whatever, just the minute I get home. I'm not going to unpack. It's gonna happen tomorrow. I don't care. And then I get home. I put my freaking carry-on on the floor and I just think of all the folded clothes inside and how wrinkled they are. Just everything that needs to go to the laundry. And next thing I know, I'm opening everything and I'm starting to unpack. 1 a.m., 3 a.m., 5 a.m. Doesn't really matter. I'm unpacking because it drives me crazy, literally. And that's weird because I don't consider myself as someone who has an OCD or anything like that, but that does drive me crazy in a way. So I just cannot leave that shit on the floor. It's just interesting how every time I'm sure I will do it, I'm like, it's gonna happen tomorrow, and it never happens. So if you're still with me after all of those confessions, thank you, and I promise I will try not to mention any of those things ever again. I will just correct myself, and let's not call those things interesting facts about my way of traveling. Let's just call them a test of who's going to keep listening. And again, thank you, Mom. Just kidding. But speaking of Mom, I don't know how your travel addiction, guys, started, but for me, it was probably my parents taking me and my sister everywhere with them. They would go on different trips, different vacations, and they would always take us with them. I don't ever remember being left with someone to take care of me while my parents were traveling. It was just me and my sister always with them. And we were so used to go places all the time that's why I find it so normal now. I would watch my parents packing and I just learned how to do it in a good way at a really young age. I remember the whole excitement around, leaving somewhere early in the morning, much before Google location and online maps were a thing. And I just sounded like I'm 60 years old, but you know what I mean. I just remember hopping in the car when it was like super early in the morning, still dark outside. My mom would have the paper map and she would just tell my dad which way to take. It was just so exciting because as a kid, your only responsibility is just to hop in the car and to be present. You don't think about money. You don't think about complications, parking. You don't think about anything plan related. You just need to be there and to enjoy it. And I know it's really stupid when we're kids and we're like growing up saying, oh my God, I cannot wait to travel by myself. I cannot wait to travel without my parents, to be with my friends, to have, all the freedom I've been wanting. And what happens when you finally get the freedom you wanted? You cannot really afford that traveling. As I said, I'm Bulgarian, so Bulgaria borders the Black Sea, and going to the coast is a big thing there. I used to go to the coast with my parents for either 10 or 14 days every summer, and back then I thought that's the normal time to spend on a vacation because we were doing it every summer. And this is straight 2 weeks at the beach, playing in the sand, enjoying my summer break, living my best life with zero expenses. What happened then? I finally got the freedom to travel with my friends, and we'll be like, yeah, let's go to the coast. How many days can we afford? Let's make it a long weekend because that's all we have money for. That's right, you finally get the freedom and good luck with your expenses. You start seeing that what you've been complaining from, which is getting in the car with no responsibilities, is something you can't do anymore as an adult. You need to think about the transport, you need to think about how much it's going to cost getting there, where to stay, what to see. For God's sake, there is no one to tell you to put a goddamn sunscreen on your skin. So the first vacations on your own, you look like a lobster because your mom is not there to be like, hey, you're gonna get sunburned. And yes, we keep complaining when we're kids, and we keep dreaming for the moment when we will leave the nest. And then what? We start dreaming about being home and being taken care of. Or, as one of my friends says, adulthood is the worst hood I've ever been to. And I can feel that. So all the responsibility of planning, paying for, and getting there is yours now. And we realize how much work our parents did when they would take us anywhere and when we would take this for granted. So good luck now. A lot of you probably remember the first trip they had to plan on their own. So I'm just curious. Let me guys know in the comments, what did you do for your first trip that you had to plan? Where did you go? How did you decide? How did you cover the expenses? I'm just curious. I bet some of you still remember. The amount of work we do for it is the moment we realize that it's all up to us now. Look at you making it to the end of my first episode, and look at me talking straight for 30 plus minutes, which is actually nothing new for the people who know me. I really hope you guys like this episode. So if there is even 2 people listening right now, making it to the end, thank you for not turning that shit off once you heard about my magnet weird thing. I really appreciate you still being here. So this is the pilot of Adventulina, and I'm really excited to share it with you guys. Let's stay connected. If you like what you heard, if you want to hear more travel talks, please make sure you subscribe. I really appreciate your support, and the fact that you decided to listen to something that you had never heard of before, it really means a lot. I'm excited to take you guys with me on this travel journey. I have amazing guests coming to the show, people who have traveled the world, people who have lived on the road for months, people who don't have room on their passport pages. So just in general, people we all can learn so much from. Because as I said, the best part of the traveling is the memories we share with people and the stories we tell them. So hopefully they take our experience and learn something that will improve theirs, and vice versa. So amazing tips about how to travel in an affordable way, how to find the best deals, and how to maximize your travel budget are coming your way. Many useful things that you can only learn from people who have been there. Let me know what you want to talk about, because the show is for you. I want to discuss more topics you guys are interested in. Let's make it together. And buckle up, guys, because my next episode is landing shortly. Bon voyage. I don't even know if I said it right, but I'm a foreigner, so please forgive me.